Howdy Vine Trippers. So welcome to another combined monthly video update. So this is August and I'm going to be covering the last 2 months, June and July. I was out a lot during the summer doing lots of recording, visiting a lot of different wineries and different places. So I neglected to get a July monthly update video out. So I decided for August, I would cover both the months of June and July. So here we go. I had 4 different episodes that were released over those 2 months. We had episode 42, which was about Messina Hof Winery in Bryan, Texas. And they also have 3 other locations. So you'll have to go back and listen to that amazing interview I had with Paul Bonarigo about Messina Hof. They do so many fun events. Matter of fact, they are right now in August going to be doing a lot of harvest events. Every single weekend they're going to be doing a harvest event, and you don't want to miss those. I'm going to tell you more about harvests here in a little while, but make sure you check out Messina Hof for that. Great wines, such a fun place to go, beautiful estate there in Bryan especially. And so you've probably got one near to you because they have a location in the Houston area, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and in the Hill Country as well. So make sure you check out Messina Hof. And then I moved on in episode 43 to the little town of Driftwood, Texas, and I was able to visit Dukeman Family Winery. I had a great visit with their winemaker, Dave Riley, and we talked a lot about the beauty of that location there, but we also talked about his emphasis on Italian varietals and how he loves working with some great Italian varietals there. It's, again, another fun place to check out in Driftwood, not far from the famous Salt Lick Barbecue restaurant. So if you want to go fill up on some great barbecue before you go and then head on out to Dukeman, that's a great thing. But they also have lots of food options there at Dukeman too. So make sure you check out Dukeman Family Winery. That was episode 43. And then we moved on into July. And in July, I was able to release episode 44, which was at Seven Creeks Vineyard up in Burnet, Texas. And they have a great story, Briggs and Carol Horn, what they're doing there with their amazing winery that they have, the vineyard that they have planted there. It's a fun little drive up through the vines to the winery itself, this family-run operation. And they've got this cool little oak grove right outside the tasting room where you can sit and enjoy your wine among the vines and with these beautiful shaded oak trees. So make sure to check out Seven Creeks Vineyard. Great wines they're doing there, and just a fun family appeal as you go to that winery. And lastly, I finished up the month of July with episode 45, which was about the Texas Wine Collective, which is on the Wine Road 290, probably a little closer to the Fredericksburg side of things. But the Texas Wine Collective is not just one winery, it's a combination of 3 different wineries in one. So you're going to get to experience wines from 3 different amazing producers that don't necessarily have a hill country footprint here. So that's what Texas Wine Collective is all about. You'll get to taste wines from McPherson Cellars, which is based up in the Lubbock area of Texas near the High Plains. You'll get to taste wines from Lost Oak Winery, which is basically in Burleson, Texas. Now, they also have a new tasting room in Boerne, Texas. So they've got 2 different locations in addition to now being able to get things at the Texas Wine Collective there. So Lost Oak, which was also my episode 21. If you want to go back and hear more about Lost Oak Winery, you can do that. And then the third one is Brennan Vineyards, which is up in Comanche, Texas. So if you go to the Texas Wine Collective, you get to taste wines from 3 different awesome providers here in the Hill Country area that are maybe from other locations. But they also have a few different labels that are their own Texas Wine Collective labels, and they've got some great rosés. They've got a lot of different things there. An awesome food truck, Fork and Cork food truck there. So lots of fun places to go throughout the months of June and July. Make sure you check out Texas Wine Collective was episode 45. But go see all of those fun places. So we had, again, in recap, episode 42 was Messina Hof, 43 was Dukeman Family Winery, 44, Seven Creeks Vineyard, and 45, Texas Wine Collective. And I've got a lot more great episodes on the way to you guys. I spent some time traveling this summer to other places throughout Texas, so be on the lookout for some episodes coming down the road here that aren't just in the Hill Country area. So I'm excited to bring those to you, some really fun and exciting interviews, some really important people in the wine industry here in Texas that I've been able to interview and make connections with. So I'm really excited for you to hear those coming up. Stay tuned for some great episodes coming out over the next few months as well. Now, in industry news, this is harvest time for most wineries that have vineyards. Now, not all wineries have their own vineyards. Some just source their grapes from other vineyards, especially up in the High Plains area. But some wineries have their own estate vineyards on site. And right now, harvest is in full swing. Many got started in July, and it could go through even into September, but especially the month of August in the Hill Country especially, you're getting most of your harvest done right now. And so if you've never participated in a harvest, it is a ton of fun. I have now done 6 different harvests. I did 3 last year and I've done 3 this year. This year I was able to experience a harvest of Blanc du Bois this summer at Roland Taylor Vineyards, and that was a ton of fun getting to harvest that grape. I also just recently was out at Siboney Cellars, which was episode 8 of the podcast, and worked with Miguel and Barbara to harvest their Merlot that they have at their estate vineyard there at Siboney. And this was my second harvest with them. I was able to help them out last year as well, so that was always a lot of fun. And then lastly, I just finished a harvest at 12 Fires Vineyard and Winery, which is actually my #1 episode. And by #1, I mean my very first episode ever for this podcast. So if you want to know more about 12 Fires, go back and check out episode 1 of the podcast. But I was able to help them with a historic moment, their very first ever harvest of the Mourvèdre that they have planted on site there at 12 Fires. So that was a ton of fun being able to be a part of that historic event. So if you are interested at all in doing harvest, they love the help. It definitely helps to have these volunteers who can come in and get some of that labor done for them. It saves the wineries a lot of money from having to hire people to come do that. So they're always soliciting. So if you're interested, you don't need any special talent. They'll show you what to do. It's not hard to clip the grapevines, clusters from the vines. And they'll usually provide the tools you need, water while you're there, things like that. They start usually early in the morning and then end by noon, 11 or noon when it starts getting warmer. But it's a ton of fun to experience. If you are at all interested, make sure to look up some of your favorite wineries and check out right now, usually in their events area, you'll hear about their harvests and what they've got going on. If you're not sure at all, send them an email, ask them about harvest, ask if they have volunteers and you can contribute and help out with that. I'm sure the wineries would be glad to have you help them out if they are harvesting. And again, I know that Messina Hof that I mentioned earlier does harvest events all through the month of August. So if you're looking for a harvest, you don't know where else to go, check out Messina Hof. It'll be a great experience there as well. I also wanted to tell you a little bit about Texas Wine Collective. I mentioned they were episode 45. They notified me that they have an event coming up on August the 25th. It's a Texas barbecue and Texas Wine Collective pairing event. They do have tickets on sale right now on their website. They're going to try 3 different barbecue items and pair different Texas Wine Collective wines with those. So that should be a really fun event. If you want to go to that, make sure you go to their website at texaswinecollective.com and look for those event pages and find that event to get your tickets. I'm sure they're going to go fast because that sounds like a really yummy event. Now, I also wanted to tell you about an upcoming event that's coming up in October. The Fredericksburg Food and Wine Festival is being revamped this year, and I've got a bonus episode coming up about that particular festival, and it's going to be a really elevated event with amazing food from local chefs, great wines from 30 to 50 different Texas wineries. They're gonna have distilling station areas. They're gonna have breweries. They're gonna have all kinds of cool things with sparkling. So you gotta go check out the Fredericksburg Food and Wine Festival. That's gonna be on October 25th and 26th of 2024 in Fredericksburg. So go to their website, fbgfoodandwine.com and get your tickets and your badges now. They're gonna sell out. They're selling like hotcakes right now. So make sure that you get your tickets soon. You can plan your whole weekend. They have a lot of information on their website about lodging, transportation, things to do as well, so that you can make a whole weekend out of it for that Food and Wine Festival. It's something you are not gonna wanna miss this year. So make sure and check them out. All right, well, before I get ready to wrap up here, I thought I'd remind you I have a merchandise store. If you want some Texas Under Vine labeled items, I have t-shirts. I still have, I think, some of the season 1 t-shirts available there. And I have hats, I have hoodies, I have a cool little wine tumbler with the Texas Under Vine logo on it. So if you're wanting some of that stuff, make sure to check out the merch store. If you go to my website at texasundervine.com, you'll find the link at the top for the merchandise store, and you can go there to order your items. And if you have something that you'd like to see on the merchandise store, let me know. Send me an email. I'd be glad to look into it and see if we can put some other cool, fun merchandise pieces out there. And in that same vein, if you have any feedback on the podcast. So if there are places you'd like me to visit and bring to you, or ideas you have for the show, make sure to let me know. Again, it's scott@texasundervine.com, or find me on any of the social platforms at texasundervine, and you can give me that feedback. I do treasure it. It really does help me improve the show. And I want to be bringing you locations that make sense to you and that you've wanted to check out and want to know more about. All right, well, it's time to bring this month's update to a close. So before I go, make sure you subscribe to the podcast wherever you get the podcast from. Whether you're just doing the audio versions, you can do that on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on any of the places that you get that podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the show so you get the new episodes as soon as they come out. And if you've started following along on YouTube, since now all my episodes are video based, make sure that you click the follow button here on YouTube, subscribe to this podcast here so that you'll have access to the channel and you'll see all the new fun things that are coming out as they come out. And like the videos, feel free to comment on them. I do look for that feedback on each episode. Tell me what you liked about the different places or what you're most looking forward to about visiting those different places, and help me out on YouTube. And while you're there, make sure to rate and review the podcast. So on, again, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any of those places, just give me a rating, maybe leave a review. It really does help me get seen by more people. It's such a simple thing to do and doesn't cost you any money, and it really helps me tremendously. So please, if you would, leave me a rating and review. I'm not a podcast that's going to tell you to give me 5 stars. You give me what you think I deserve, but just having those ratings and those reviews really help me out. And lastly, if you'd like to become a Patreon of the website. So Patreon is how I fund the podcast. It's expensive to buy all these materials, to all the cameras, the audio setups, to travel, to go to all these places. It costs a lot of money, and the hosting and everything. And I'm a teacher, so I'm footing this all out of my pocket. So anything you can help me with really helps, whether that's just a one-time donation, or if you want to become a monthly subscriber through Patreon. If you do, the Patreon subscribers do get some extra behind-the-scenes footage, some extra bonuses for being a part of the Patreon. And I've got some really cool, fun new benefits planned for the Patreon subscriber. So if you are a current Patreon subscriber, first of all, my heart goes out to you. Thank you so much for helping me make this podcast a reality. But you should see some fun new things coming, and you'll automatically get those benefits just by being one of my Patreon subscribers. And if you're not a Patreon subscriber and you want to give, even if it's just a couple of dollars a month, you can join up, and now's the time to join, because if you join now, you will automatically get some of those fun new things that are coming to Patreon. I can't reveal them, but they're coming up soon, I promise. So if you want to become a Patreon subscriber, just go again to my website, texasundervine.com. Go up to the top again, click Become a Patron, and it will take you to my Patreon website where you can see all those fun added things and decide what level you'd like to contribute at. All right. Until then, I'm going to sign off here. Be looking for some fun episodes coming out this month here in August, and I will see you again hopefully in September with a new monthly update. And until then, happy trails and bottoms up, y'all.